Okay, so let me get on here with Sudi Instagram. Let Sudi know that she can now join us. All right, we're gonna have a couple guests today. You guys join me real quick. I'm waiting for Sudi, and
Hello.
Sudi should be hello. I'm waiting for Sudi to join and Dr. Sharnil. So Sudi asked me to facilitate this on especially the technological part. Let me write to Sudi real quick. I'll let Sudi know. Okay, and then Dr. Sharnil, I sent her a message. Hopefully she can join us. The people are starting to ask questions already. The advice on broken heart and stuff like that is oh, Dr. Sharnil is going to be late. The broken heart question can be traced back to the last video that I did with Sudi, and there's a whole library of teachings on my YouTube also. So thank goodness we were able to do this, because Instagram lets at least 3 people go on live at the same time, or else I have no idea how to do this. I had to look it up on Google, actually. I was going to go live earlier and ask people to come live with me just to test it out. And I'm like, why don't I just ask Google, because Google could answer most of these questions.
Yeah, it's a common occurrence nowadays, learning all this new stuff.
Yes. So you're Simon, correct?
I am Simon, yes.
Oh, okay.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I just glanced over your profile. I just had a glimpse over it. It looks pretty awesome.
Awesome, thank you very much. And yours too. So right back at you.
My profile, all my profile pictures are like, or videos are like very eventful. It's very, very colorful. I don't see Sudi still. One thing about Instagram is you have to be really vigilant on the screen about people joining and stuff.
Yes.
Let me see what today's topic is about. I haven't even glanced through the topic. Raising our vibration. Okay. Awesome. Dr. Sharnil has joined. Dr. Sharnil, if you could hit the ask to join on your Instagram. Oh, thank goodness. Oh, I think I see it right here. Oh, okay. Sudi asked to join. There's a button there I didn't even see. And Dr. Sharnil, if you could pretty please do the same. There is Sudi.
Hey guys.
Hi.
Namaste.
And yeah, Dr. Sharnil, if you could hit ask to join, or I think there she. Oh, and now it's a party. It's a party now.
I gotta get my glasses, guys.
Hey.
Hi, Dr. Sharnil. How are you?
Hey, how are you?
Hey, we got it all figured out. Look, there's 4 of us. Like, I got it. Yes, Monk's got it.
Yes, you did it, man.
Yeah, I'm having a little trouble here with tech stuff. And I didn't know that we moved it to someone else, so that was a little bit hold on, let me see what I can do here. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Okay. Awesome.
Good. Namaste, guys. Sorry for the inconvenience. Um, everything is
Hopefully,
fine. Everything is, as we know, divinely planned. But I'm in Tulum, Mexico, and somehow I lost my English page. I mean, Instagram stopped me, so I had to join here, and we had to change everything. So this is why we're here.
okay. Thanks
Yeah.
for having me. Good seeing you guys again.
Yes, it's wonderful. Yes. So, who wants to get started on the topic? Dr. Chanel, would you like to start?
Yeah, so I hope you guys can hear me okay. I'm having a little trouble hearing y'all, and I
Yes.
don't know how long my phone will have a battery because I had to set this up. There's no way to do this on desktop, right? It has to be
No.
phone.
Yeah.
Okay, well this holder won't allow me to plug in at the same time. So, but anyway, I'm so excited to meet you guys, and I love the topic. I'm not familiar with the two gentlemen here, but I'm so happy to meet you. I kind of like looked over your Instagram and I was like, these are all good vibe people. I love it so much. So, but yeah, Sudie had asked me to come on, and this is my favorite topic because basically, where the world is right now, we are here for now in this season, and providing space holding, prayer, trying to upgrade our own selves, go through our own transmuting of whatever kind of things are going on in the DNA to shift those things. And some of the ways that I like to do that, I use essential oils, I use crystals, definitely meditation. Nature has a lot of coding, sunlight, actually being in the sunlight, animals. I foster care for kittens. I've had 97 kittens in
Oh, wow.
3 years. I'm bottle feeding 2 babies right now, and animals like cats will purr at 157 megahertz, and
Huh?
so we are at 67 megahertz on a healthy adult day. And the higher we can get our vibration up, the better that we're going to be as far as intuition, healing powers. We can touch people, we can speak to people, we can love on people. I do a lot of testing for soul audits, and I can tell how big someone's aura or biofield is. And what I'm seeing is the higher that someone will score on a map of consciousness, and I use Dr. Hawkins' map of
Mhm.
consciousness, although I don't necessarily agree with everything that he believes, but I love his map. And when I test people to see where they are in the map, usually it will coincide. The higher they are in the map of consciousness,
Dr.
the
Chanel,
bigger.
Dr.
What's that?
Chanel, I'm so sorry. Before you go on, your voice is not very clear. Is there any way we could hear you louder and maybe a little more clear?
I don't know how to make it louder. I don't. This is the only way I have to do it is through my phone.
You have the button on the side where you lower the sound or you bring it higher.
Yeah, it's all the way to the top.
Is all the way to the top. So maybe you should
Yeah.
get closer to your phone. I don't know how we can. It's a little muffly. It's not very clear and loud. We're
I'm
just
so sorry. Can you
so.
hear me okay? Is it better now?
Is it better?
It sounds it probably sounds like it's in a really secure case or waterproof case.
A
Oh.
waterproof case. Oh, let me take it out of the case. Let me see. A waterproof case. Oh, it's not in a case.
It's clear now. It's clearer now. I don't know what you did, but it's a lot more clear now.
Oh, you know what? Maybe what it was sitting on. I'll just have to hold it.
Okay.
This is going to be a long interview. No.
we somehow have to manage it because I forgot when I came to Tulum. I also forgot to bring my stand, so I'm also holding my phone too as we're speaking.
So whatever, just so I can be with you guys. That's all that matters. Is I'm enjoying you guys.
Okay,
so, yeah,
great.
what I was saying is I test people on the map of consciousness and see where they're at. And what I'm seeing in my practice is the higher someone is in the map of consciousness, the wider their biofield width is, their radius is. So their ability to reach more people and influence more people just by their presence will have a better opportunity if they're working on themselves, on the inward things, and doing their best to raise up their vibration. And I just worked with a lady yesterday. I've been working with her. She started out in the 200s, and her biofield was about 4 feet. And now she's at 350, and her biofield is, her radius is 22 feet. So that means she has a 22 feet range, like going to the grocery store, going to the gas station, wherever she is, in her home, at school. This code that's in our field has an ability to touch others, whether it's through healing or love or just inspiration or making people feel better, and they don't even know why they're feeling better just by being in that realm. And so, and I've also worked with people who may have an inverted field, and there may be like a 20 or a 50 on the map of consciousness. And what happens with that is they cannot generate their own energy. So they have to live off of other people's energy to take. And there's cameras that show this with not just people, but with plants. Plants will do this too, and they'll take from other plants their energy in order to survive, and cannot survive any other way. So we're seeing a lot of this on the planet, where there's this like vampiric consciousness trying to live off of whatever people who do have an energy source. We can get sovereignty, and we can maintain sovereignty so that doesn't happen, and we can set those boundaries. There's a lot of different ways to do that, but again, doing the inner work and knowing where you're at, to me, I think is one of the most important things. So because if you don't know where you are, it's kind of hard to figure out where you're going to go. Just like if you're in a GPS and it's like, I want to go to New York or whatever, and you don't know the address, and you don't even know where you are. It's like, how are you going to get there? You know, so anything that can be measured can be managed. And I love working with people to figure out where people are so we can get a game plan to like move up and upgrade. But you know, eating healthy, juicing, really nature is such a big deal. But and meditation, activation in your imagination. But I'd love to hear from you guys, like what do you guys do to keep it up? Because I see your posts. You guys' posts are like so high vibe, like everyone should follow you guys. I mean, I'm like a fan now. Thanks for introducing me, Sudi.
Of course. Who wants to go between you two guys first?
I would yield the floor. I would yield the floor to Simon, because go ahead, Simon.
Okay. All right. I'll give it a go here. So yeah, you know, I got very excited actually when you mentioned this, because when I first was kind of going through healing, I got really obsessed with vibration. It was just so much so that every moment of my life was like positive thoughts, positive this, and it was amazing. I had really amazing progress for a very long time, and then I hit a plateau. And I remember when I hit that plateau, I started to kind of integrate kind of more of my shadow side of myself and stuff that I was ignoring. I don't know if I was ignoring it, I just wasn't aware of it. So I kind of had a little meditation on this morning, and I just thought, well, what's an answer for this? And what kind of came was, with regards to right vibration, it says you can do something and raise vibration. You can do nothing and raise vibration. You can be something and raise vibration, or you can be nothing and raise vibration. And that's really confusing when people really want a roadmap, but it's so true that sometimes just letting go, like I find our vibration is almost like a cork. And I think its tendency is it wants to raise. I don't think that we're flawed in some way, that we're low vibrational. I think actually we're high vibrational. We just have a lot of stuff around that can keep us down. Some of it is thoughts and beliefs and daily practices, food we eat, lots of different elements. And so I think for us, that's actually a big plus in that we are intrinsically made, I think, to raise our vibration. That's my belief in humanity. So sometimes just literally being present with the moment and being kind of the observer and not kind of interacting with everything that's kind of going on in our heads and bodies, we'll just naturally raise. Other times we can really actively be thinking really positive thoughts. We can be running and jumping and singing and hugging animals and people, and we can raise. sometimes we can read just some incredible scripture or text, and that can help us raise. So I didn't really want to pick one specific thing, but I definitely, judging people, stuff like that, I find personally really lowers my vibration. So if I ever feel that come up, I tend to kind of use everyone as a mirror. I hasten to say use, but everyone is a mirror for any part of me that I'm unable to see. So if I see something and something is kind of irritating, I'm pretty quick to kind of get on and try and love that piece or integrate it in some way or own it. And I find that for me now is a very helpful thing. Like, it can take a lot of strength and resilience sometimes to do that, but it's really an amazing practice personally. But it doesn't have to be complicated. I think it can be very simple in that if you can just find your joy, and if your joy is animals or your joy is throwing stones into the ocean, that's going to raise your vibration. Anything that can really sort of take you into the moment and get you out of the thoughts of what is wrong with the world and what's wrong with these people and what's wrong with this and what's wrong with ourselves, like, well, oh, I'm not good enough, or whatever it is that's kind of coming up. Any moment you can kind of connect with joy and curiosity, that I find that it's just a natural way for us to raise up. And I think, like you said, and I kind of was in a medical background before kind of what I'm in now, and before I started in there, I wasn't really that observant of taking like the pulse of where I was, I guess. So I think that's a really valid point, and I think that's an element of medicine which is really getting well. And I'm more into the energetic side of it, but I think that's an element of medicine that really fits well with what I would call sort of, I don't know, etheric kind of stuff. And in that, when you know what kind of a certain place is, you know where else to go. Like, if you don't feel love, then it's easier to feel what love is actually. I find actually the fact I had a very low self-worth and feeling of love within myself for a big part of my life that was a really good guide for me to know that, hey, I know what that feels like. I'd actually like to go somewhere else. And that to me is a big gift, that a lot of the really challenging things in our lives, if we start to use those as kind of like the guidance for, hey, this isn't maybe necessarily how I want to feel anymore, but you know what it feels like. So you can also, you know what love feels like when you know what no love feels like. You know what happiness feels like when you know what sadness feels like. And for me personally, being able to combine lots of these elements kind of naturally made my vibration raise without actually having to try too hard. But I could also raise my vibration really quickly by singing and dancing on the beach behind me here. And there's all sorts of elements. So I try to flow with it a bit more now, because I found that when I was always trying to be positive and always trying to raise my vibration, is that sometimes I wasn't noticing the elements of me that were screaming to be heard and hugged. So yeah, that's my little bit to share for the moment. So
that's awesome. Love it.
Ven, your turn. Ven can talk to us for hours now on this topic.
I don't have anything to say.
Really? Oh,
I'm just kidding.
You
Dr.
have-
Charneil, is that how you pronounce it?
That's impossible.
Dr. Charneil, is that how you spell how you pronounce your name, Charneil?
Charnel.
Charnel.
Yeah.
Dr. Charnel, what you said was really profound. I actually took notes. I did.
Ah.
So look, 10 feet, biofield, 22 feet, biofield. So I don't remember reading anything in Buddhism in regards to energy, actually. I haven't seen any word that says energy or anything of that nature. So this is all new to me, not as in the subject itself, but so previously I did this video. I went to a cemetery nearby. I hold a lot of meditation at the cemetery. Yeah, talk about energy, right? It's actually really peaceful. It's actually really peaceful out there. And I was, I this summer I wanted to do death meditation. It's fun. It shakes people up. And it gets people moving. It gets people doing the things that they need to do. Get in shape, or get out. Boost their mood by exercising, so on and so on. The problem is, the Buddha says, the problem is we think we have time when we in fact don't. So as I was wandering around in the mausoleum, there was this thing that they carry caskets in, and I'm like, ooh, hold this. And I told my assistant, like, hold the phone, and I don't know, I'm just gonna give a talk. So when I'm doing these TikTok videos, I have 1 million followers on there. I just give the talk. I don't even think about what I'm talking about. I just give the 60-second thing. And I talked about energy, and it was titled Energy, and it was like a big hit. It was like, and I didn't realize so many people were into this subject, especially all the young people. And basically, I spoke from an experiential standpoint, which is, you know, if you have hidden agendas in your life, I mean, all sorts of hidden agendas, whatever those hidden agendas actually are, like, I don't know, killing, stealing, you know, intoxicating substances, taking advantage of other people, being manipulative. I mean, everyone knows, you know, their hidden agenda, whether it exists or don't exist. And I think we all have felt that in a room. I mean, all of us have been at a doctor's office, and we sit there and people walk in and walk out. And, you know, when I spoke about this, I said, there are some people that walk in and it's like Christmas morning. It's like, wow. Whew. There's some people you just see from a good distance, just like the biofield thing that Dr. Charnel said. There were some people in my life when I sat far away and I just looked at them, I analyzed them, and I'm like, oh my God, what an enlightening woman. I mean, she sure really seems like a fully enlightened being to me, right? And then there's other people that have walked into a room and we're just like, oh my God, I don't really have to go to a funeral home because the funeral home came to me. So from a Buddhist standpoint, I guess we're the ones that teach us the how. Well, at least what I was taught is to cultivate, like Dr. Charnel said, the inner work that needs to be done. Because the Buddha was a very wise man. We're all humans are subject to three things: greed, which is excessive desires; anger, we all have anger and hatred. That's why there's wars in the world; and ignorance. And ignorance meaning, you know, you don't have to get a PhD in neurophysics, neuropsychology, so on and so on. But ignorance of the Four Noble Truths, as the Buddha have taught. And so when we look at our motivation, our intention, I think that is what really affects the frequency and vibration. And when people ask me a lot about karma, how does karma actually really work? Well, in Buddhism, karma has everything to do with your motivation and your intention. You know, it's kind of like law, you know, willfully, knowingly, and intentionally doing something. So when you set that intention, this is why it's so important that to meditate before work or school and then after work and school. So that, number one, we do it before so that we set our intentions, that we have good intentions with the benefit of others in mind. And then after work or school, so that we can let go. Because meditation is to let go. Let go of what? Let go of acquired negative emotion, accumulated negative acquired emotions, and accumulated acquired bad habits, right? And those are the things that over time, collectively, builds up to these energy that people feel when you walk into a room. Now, I will share this self-disclosure with the rest of the world, is that there is no doubt in my life that there were ups and downs. I mean, I became a monk because, trust me, people don't become monks because life was grand and good and we've won the lottery and we've got, you know, wife and children and we're all dandy. No, yeah. We become monks because there is active suffering in our life and that we want to transcend suffering. So in my life, you know, I've actually been through hell. I've lost everything 3 times in my life, hit rock bottom, grandma died, best friend died, you name it. You just name it. But so there were points in my life where I was bitter. Just in all honesty, I was bitter. I was angry. I was mad. I was mad at God. I was mad at everybody. I was mad at God, Buddha, Shiva, Allah. I was mad at everybody. Okay. But, you know, to my surprise, I don't know how these people are so gravitated towards me. And they have never, some of these people, they've never met me before in my life, particularly the TikTok thing. It was an experiment. And when the numbers started coming in, you know, the amount of followers started blowing up, I realized, oh my God, so, like, why do they choose me as a teacher? I'm just a junior monk, 6 years. There are monks that's been doing this for 40 years. Why don't they gravitate to them? And I realized that throughout my whole life, I've always had the benefit of others in mind. I have always put other people first. And when I had my own company and I paid my employees 1/3 of what the company made. And when I gave teachings on giving, give more, take less, said the Buddha, I told everyone around the world, and this is recorded live. All of my recordings are live. I've said, find someone that can tell you all that I took more and gave less, and I'll leave the country. I'll renounce my U.S. citizenship and leave the country. So the point and purpose here is that, you know, all of us come from not so good causes and conditions in life. Some people even wear shirts like, "The savage life chose me." Have you seen those shirts? Oh my God, I was like, no. And you know, we grow up with addiction, trauma, abuse, the existence of such. Sometimes we don't get to choose our parents, so on and so on. You know, when you look at psychoanalysis, psychoanalytic theories, and all of these in psychology. But if you start to cultivate, if you have it already, it's wonderful. We can always sharpen and refine the gift of giving. Give more, take less in life. But if you're new to it, and if this is news to you, you know, Buddhism teaches you the how to do that, how to cultivate loving kindness, compassion, and deep understanding. And, you know, I would never say that my whole life was compassionate. I would never say that my whole life was always positive. There were points in my life where, again, I was bitter, I was angry, I was sad, I was mad, I was depressed, I was anxious. But I truly believe that the vibrational frequency that projected then, now, I mean, maybe at the time of this call, that I've always had the benefits of others in mind. And that's how you attract others, because I think they can see that. They can see, wow, this is a person who actually cares. And when people are looking for a partner, they want to look for someone who cares. And now in society, like, people don't give a beep. We can generalize that statement. That is a very accurate statement. We've also seen books too that is being written, you know, The Art of Not Giving a Blank. And so people get these ideas of, you know, it's all about me, and I shouldn't care about other people. I can barely take care of myself. But my take on it is that, and then hopefully during this talk, you know, I can probably expand on the how to do that. I think people are going to be wondering, well, how exactly do you actually do that? But I'd like to yield the floor back to Sudi. Thank you.
Well, thank you. First of all, I have to say I am so impressed that on a short notice you were able to add everybody in, because I know it's the first time. So I'm so proud of you, Ben. This is amazing. Thank you for putting it all together for us to be here. But where do I come from? I'm coming from a place of how empty or full am I? We did I'm usually doing a joint live with Wen, and one of the previous one that we did was about how to become formless. And I think we did that joint live for over 2 hours or so. But what I mean by how full or empty am I is that how much of my past, my conditionings, my behaviors, traumas, the storyline, and all of this, am I carrying up to here? How much am I holding on to grudges? Or how fast can I release something and move on? Yesterday, I did a short reel about love and being in love. And I said, you know, we use this word love so vaguely, and we don't have respect for it. You know, me myself is like lovey and I love you and all of this stuff. And I said, let's look at the definition of love. To me, as we all know, love is the highest vibration. Love is purity, non-attachment, unconditional. But oftentimes we say, I love you, or I'm in love with you. But then again, all bundles of old conditionings and behaviors and all of this comes into it. And we still say, I love you, but I can't overcome my old behaviors and conditioning. I snap in a second and blah, blah, blah. So this is not really love. Or so I said, let's have more respect for the word love. And saying that, how empty am I from all of these? Because Dr. Chanel, you can correct me or not, because see how empty am I from the past, and all of this thing has totally a different energy. So for instance, me, myself, and I, at every second in any interaction that I have with people, I'm very conscious and aware that number one, how much am I judging them as a character? You know, yesterday I started a Farsi webinar on relationship. And I said, you know, in my opinion, beneath all of how we act or react in a relationship, number one, how much do I love myself? I feel worthy. And how much am I really, really clear in my field of all of these? And how often do I judge myself? So yesterday we did a practice with everybody to love every part of us as shadows or what we don't like, and then own that part. I love that I'm jealous. I love that I'm always feel like I'm getting behind, everybody else is going up. Every part of shadow, just own it and then love that part. And by me starting to loving every part, that energy or the lesson will dissipate, or we would transmute in me loving and accepting that part. So going back to what I was saying, any interaction that I have with anybody, I am aware that, am I coming from an empty place? Or am I thinking right now as we are here speaking, I'm thinking Dr. Charnel is talking too slow, you're talking too fast. This is it. You know, how busy am I in my head and how much judgment doesn't come out of it? So I try to hold on to a really non-judgmental space, the opinion that is going to build up from my ego part and all that. And I think that has an effect. Second part is, even if something touches me, right? Whatever comes up, if I feel hurt, or if someone does something that I know he has or she has done it intentionally, how fast can I love myself and love the person and clear that energy? This empty or fullness, I think, has a lot to do with us in what level of vibrations are we in. What do you think, Dr. Shan?
Yeah, oh my God, I love this conversation so much. You guys are bringing so much to the table. I'm also taking notes. I love that you brought up judgment, because I'm a scientist, I'm a geek. I come from 20 years of ministry, but then went back to school to be a doctor, but I do energy medicine. So with judgment, I can tell you on a scientific level, this is your frontal lobe, and behind that is your limbic system. And your limbic system is the seat or the house or the library of your emotions. And one thing, so a few things about the limbic system. The limbic system cannot tell the difference with time. It doesn't know if something happened tomorrow or yesterday. So if you're thinking about something that happened a long time ago and it's bad, you can have all the feelings and saturate the chemicals in your body with negative chemistry that's going to suppress your digestive system, your immunity, and what have you, and have all the negative things that end up in the field because you're thinking about something negative. It doesn't understand imagination. The word imagination is to image a nation. So that limbic system, when you're meditating, you can actually do that in the positive. You can think of happy things that maybe not even happened yet, but your limbic system records that as real. And then you can have a chemistry reaction that causes your body to have bliss, like the gentleman had mentioned before, doing fun things to raise your vibration without even trying, just focusing on things that make you happy and laugh and do fun things. I mean, the beach, oh my God, that's one of my favorite places just because of it's gorgeous, but also theta waves. I mean, you can get entrained really quickly in theta, which is creativity, very quickly in nature and especially the beach. So, but judgment, going back to the limbic system, it also cannot tell the difference between me and you. So if I have a thought about you that's negative, immediately my body registers that as judgment to myself, from myself, and I have a chemical reaction that basically feels like I'm being judged. And it's not a good feeling. And so it goes back and forth. Same thing with giving. You can give to someone else and your limbic system registers it as you've just received something. So you cannot ever outgive. I love that we're talking about giving, because giving is an energetic exchange. And when you give, even if you pay a bill, if you have the heart and the intent, like you mentioned, Sudi, that I'm writing this water bill with love, and I'm sending it to God and the universe. With that expression, instead of like, I begrudgingly hate that I have to pay this bill kind of deal, that energy isn't gonna be the best return for you. So karma, I look at karma as code, and because you can only get what you are. So anything that you think about, anything you talk about, anything you especially feel, because your heart is the biggest generator for the magnet part, bringing things to you. Everything radiates. What you think about, what you talk about, your words, and what you feel. And you have a signature DNA code that you were born into that has an expression or projection into the field. But you can change all of that. And even your DNA is changeable. And so when we can focus on all the positive things, when we clear out all the dark shadows, when we can work on even stuff from our grandparents and what have you that may be subconscious, but it's still there, like a mirror, like this gentleman was talking about, everything that comes up, whether it's good or bad, it's all good. There is no bad. It's just a gift to say, okay, you know what? Something's still here. If I'm seeing this and this is showing up in my field, that means it's still here somewhere, and that I have more to grow, more to love, more to heal, so I can have a better pattern that shows up later. And even like a negative, mean person or a bad situation, if we can accept if we can choose to see it as a gift instead of something quote bad. There's a guy that used to, I don't know if he made this up or if it's like a quote from someone else, but he used to say, a gift that's not received becomes a burden. And so we're giving gifts all day that can be packaged to look bad, but if we can look at it as, this is an opportunity for me to clear out more of me, to collapse and make space for more God, then that's an awesome opportunity. And we can see that as a gift. It doesn't become a burden, because it doesn't become hard. It just becomes, oh my God, everything is me, And going back to the map, once people hit courage on that map of consciousness, that's when people are starting to realize, oh my God, I created this. I take responsibility. I realize that this is me doing this. And having the courage to be responsible and look at yourself and say, like, what can I do to change this? Because the good news is you may have got yourself here, but you can also get yourself out. You can reverse engineer it, and you can create a new world and be the captain of your ship. And crying is a big thing. Crying, some things will not detox any other way except for tears. But the programs on most of the earth are don't cry, I'll give you something to cry about, be strong, especially men. They're like, you know, you got to be the strong one. It's more on women now too, single moms who are chucking it out and trying to do all the things and got to be strong in front of the kids and stuff. And so I think it's just being really gentle. I love what you said about the whole, am I coming from a place of emptiness or fullness? Like, I'm emotional even saying this, like, because if we don't do self-care and we don't take that time to go on vacation like Sudi's doing, or be at the beach, or just love ourselves and remember that love for ourselves and do fun things, we are going to be reactive. We will, you cannot, you know, the scripture, I look at it as quantum physics, but love others as you love yourself. Well, you got to love yourself. And what is love, like Sudi said? Love is not conditional. Love is not, I love you and I'm going to say this so you can give me something. Love is pure, even if someone's being a total blank to you or whatever. You know, it's like to love like Buddha, to love like Christ, to love like the great ascended masters, to be love on the map is 500, and the greatest of the greats are above 500. And you know, Jesus and Buddha, they're like 1,000. You know, this is my goal. I mean, I'm not going to strive like he was saying. It's like I hit that plateau too, where I was like just thinking about it and obsessed about like going higher. But then I was like, shoot, I just need to relax and like have fun, like play a little bit, play for no reason, go out and like skip. I dare everybody on watching today, just go and skip like half a block, and you will laugh. You'll find like laughter in it, because it's like, it's silly. And or dance in the house, you know, turn on some music and dance and just have a rave in your own kitchen, you know, like there's so many things that we can do to like clear. And I love this conversation. You guys are so great. Thanks for letting me be here.
Thank you for joining. So, gentlemen, you haven't introduced yourself to Dr. Sharma.
Hi, my name is Simon Calnan. That is my name.
Nice to meet you, Simon.
You too, yeah.
Go ahead, Simon.
Okay, yeah, so yeah, where could I go from that? You guys are covering a whole lot of stuff all in one space. So I'm going to go back a little bit to, it's a combination of lots of stuff, but the word love. Because I'm a kind of energy worker, I do mediumship and stuff as well. So I ask a lot of questions to spirit, and I might be talking to myself here when I'm doing this, but the answers, I'll tell you the ones I get back. So the one that I got, I always ask what love is. And what I got back is, I was told that love is the word that humans give for the energy of source, so the energy of everything. And we call it love. And that all of the emotions and stuff that we have is basically like love's dissected. So, I don't know if have you ever seen when you do drawing and you have, it's a color chart and it has all of the colors around the outside and then the middle is white. Because when you combine all of the colors together at once, you get the color white. And this is almost like love is that white color in the middle. And when you pull it apart to get this kind of catalyst and things that make us expand, we create all these different emotions and stuff. And I think what Vin was talking about, that people can feel this, and I believe that so strongly. I think that we've heard so much words, which is ironic that we're talking here, I guess, but is that there's so much words, so much speaking, so much telling you what to do, that I think it's so confusing for people that we're having to feel. And part of my energy work is I have to feel, and talking actually, I can't really produce words sometimes to let people know what I want to express. So I just have to feel, and I kind of have to have faith that maybe that helps. And I think with someone like Ben, they said, well, I was just chatting and stuff, and all of a sudden I just, I attracted all these people. And I think this is that all of us have these skills to feel, like on a subconscious level. And it's much easier for us to feel someone that everyone else would maybe call damaged, or who's gone through a lot of stuff, because that person has integrated a lot of stuff. They've been through a lot and they've moved on. And I generally feel like people, this is what we want. Like, at some point or other, everyone feels miserable. We can't avoid it. It's just intrinsic part of being human. And so when we see someone that has also been through really challenging things, or has taken like a very like challenging path in life, that's something that takes a lot of dedication that maybe not everyone would choose to do, is it gives us, I think, faith that it's possible for us. If I see someone else can do this, then it's possible for me. And I think this is where we can come back together, that we are all kind of one. We're our own unique little piece of the same thing. And yeah, so that's a really big kind of element of that. And I think that people that have been through a lot, and I believe that people like Buddha and Jesus and stuff, the reason that they have such a high vibration is that they've integrated everything. That they've kind of integrated all of these pieces. And I think people look and they think, oh, high vibration means that you've got no bad in you. There's no nothing in you. Like you're just perfection and nothing ever goes wrong. I think it's the opposite. I think it's just people that have integrated everything, but they choose to express what they choose to express. They choose to express kindness. Like I was really unhappy yesterday, but I didn't go around screaming. I thought, well, you know what? I probably feel better if I'm just kind to people. And that's what happened. When I'm loving to people, I feel better. And it kind of, it all kind of loops back again, that when we're doing things that are joyful, we feel better. And when we are in a place of joy, we have less judgment about other people. If you see people that are joyful, you kind of want to be near them. If you see people that are miserable, sometimes you don't want to be near them. And this is kind of this feeling element of everything that we're kind of expressing here. And I genuinely believe that people that are watching this, that they can see this, and if they had the sound turned off, they could still feel that something special is happening. And that's, I think, where we're kind of going. And I'm going to pass on to Ben there. I'm going to point just over here. So,
Simon, are you a spiritual coach too?
I guess you could call it that. Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
I teach, I guess, from not really from any background of any sort of growing up with any sort of spirituality, but I learned when I had head injuries and spinal injuries, and the only way I could recover was through meditation and stuff. And what I found is that the only stuff that really helped me was spirituality, and ultimately that a lot of that was just a wider perspective, loving everybody, loving myself. And so I try and simplify it because I don't really have any formal teaching, but I see truth in pretty much everything. And I think that's an element of raising your vibration, when you can see truth in everything and not feel division. That's it. So yeah, anyway, back to you again.
What a beautiful human being. So like Dr. Charnel, like I also walked into this kind of like, I didn't know our guests today. I too glanced through a couple of profiles, and then Sudi hit me with the, oh, can you facilitate today? And I was like, I had to look up Google how to do this today, Sudi. So, so I guess I will Google answers everything. So I guess I will address the how, or some of the how.
Yeah.
I will fit as much into it as much as possible. So Buddhism. So I used to be Catholic, oh, by the way, to everyone who doesn't know me, I'm Venerable Jidao, and Sudi likes to call me Ven. And sometimes some of our viewers are like, "Is his name Ben?" So Venerable is it's a title similar to Father in Catholic, or Rabbi,
okay.
or like the Dalai Lama, His Holiness. So it's a title, and then it means one worthy of veneration. So I can't, cheat, lie, kill, and steal. So I have to carry myself worthy of veneration. Jidao is a Buddhist name. It means in the intelligent way. And that's exactly what I teach, is the intelligent way to achieve peace, the intelligent way to, get from point A to point B. And hopefully the intelligent way is to cut back a lot of time, just because, Jesus taught for 3 years, the Buddha taught for 45 years. There's one Bible in Christianity, and there's 45 Bibles in the Buddhism world. And so there is, our volumes are like that, and it's commentaries after commentaries. So it could take a couple lifetimes to finish the teachings of the Buddha. I would describe the teachings of the Buddha as the most effective and comprehensive educational system the world has ever seen. And it does exactly that. That it teaches the how. We humans are very good at describing the what, but like how. So and I've had other faiths, beliefs, and religion and philosophies merge over to Buddhism, and they want to know the how. So first and foremost, like Simon has contributed and Dr. Chanel has contributed. This is the collective wisdom of the crowd today. This is what you see is you have a lot of people with like-minded dispositions on this subject and sharing mutual teachings, understandings about energy. And so, first and foremost, no matter if we really don't like humans, one could also use the word, I hate people. It seems like every day we turn on the news and there are more mass shooters. We turn on the news and there are more guns in school. We turn on the news and there's wars. So and we are driven to judge, to ensure our survival, a study of anthropology and psychology and sociology. And so, we had to judge. We have to, and we had to judge to figure out who's good, who's bad, and who we let in our group and who we don't let in our group. So, deep understanding of that fact, you're able to remind yourself and sort of change the narrative. That's what we do. We humans, we live and we forget. There was a quote on that, but pretty much we just live and we just forget. We forget everything. We forget how to love. We forget to forgive. We forget to say I love you. I couldn't tell you how many times I've, gave these little small talks about, you love her? Do you love him? Do you say enough of it? And so what the Buddha taught is to be mindful. And what does that mean? That means to remember to be aware. That's it. In its shortest form, remember to be aware. And the other two definition is remember to observe how your mind is jumping. Remember to observe how your mind is jumping, either backwards or forward, right? Recycling of the past or apprehension of the future. And to live in the present moment. So anyways, yeah, so we do these things. We do these things as expected. And someone earlier wrote in the comment section, and I wrote it down. And if I write something down, it's really important. Someone put down, it's so hard to love when there's so many wrong people. Yeah. We could perceive that. One could perceive that, absolutely. So that doesn't mean you give up. Doesn't mean you give up. It's because giving up is the easy thing. The spiritual path is the road less traveled. The spiritual path is the road less taken. The spiritual path has everything to do with diligence, patience, and practice. And so no matter how society is to you or just things that goes on, we learn how to deal with them skillfully. And the first thing is to study the Four Noble Truths. As the Noble Truth will lead you to see the true nature of reality, of whatever it is. Well, what does that mean, Venerable? What does true nature of reality means? Well, what is the true nature of reality of a boat? If I put you on a boat and you expect the boat not to leak, oh, you're setting yourself up for failure there. You're gonna be really disappointed there, because eventually through time it will leak. If it doesn't leak on the first day you bought it, it will eventually leak. That's the nature of boats. They leak. So when it comes to human, what is the true nature of reality of humans? Just that's what they do. They do all sorts of obnoxious things. They forget. Right? They forget. They yell. They scream. They get angry. They want. Wanting something and not getting what you want causes suffering. Getting something that you don't want, like a flat tire, is suffering. So everyone has desires. Everyone wants something, they can't get it, like love, for example, or Louis Vuitton bag, or that new Mercedes that just came out. And getting something that you don't want causes aversion. And so when we see the first noble truth that there is suffering in life, that the existence of suffering in life, that we're all subject to old age, death, decay, disease. You guys can hear me, right? We got some yard work going on out there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the existence, that we're subject to these things, helps us cultivate understanding, deep understanding, and compassion to other human beings. And we inspire by and through our own change. So when you see all these obnoxious people around you, you may be the only one that is not obnoxious or well behaved. And if you, we always try to aim to change other people too. It's a tendency and a habit that we tend to do. But how well did that work out for you? I would ask my viewers. The last time you try to change somebody just because you know what is good for them, but they don't know what is good for them, how well did that backfire, or did it not? So I assert that the best way to inspire change, to inspire anything, to inspire respect, to inspire joy, to inspire happiness, to inspire true deep inner happiness, true inner joy, true inner equanimity, true inner peace, and true inner liberation, is by and through your own change. I could sit here and tell you all how many times I sit here and I'm like, how do I inspire more? How do I, I'm writing this book. It's supposed to be submitted October. I'm frantically writing it. And I'm just like, well, there's only 1.2 million on my TikTok. There's 8 billion people. And I'm just like, oh boy. I'm always wanting to do more. And I am like, slow down. You're doing the best you can. And the best way to continue inspiring is by and through my own self-change. And that's what a monk does, is they find their own faults. They find their own defilements. They look at their own greed, anger, delusion, hatred. They look at all these things deep down inside, and they aim to change them by and through meditation. And so, again, the how is to first and foremost look at the Four Noble Truths in Buddhism. And anyone can Google that. It's pretty uniform online. And when we see the first, the second, the third, so in short, right, the four is, number one, life sucks, which is there's suffering in life. Number two, life sucks because you want stuff. That means desire, excessive desire.
Don't want
Number three,
anything.
yeah. Number three is, if you don't want life to suck, stop wanting stuff. So that means we don't go into the extreme length of things in life. The Buddha just wants you to find the middle way. All right. There's the really lazy, don't want to get out of bed, and then there's the extreme, which is they will stop at no end to get what they want. This is why we see people go this great length to becoming president of the United States, great lengths to waging war because they want land, resources, energy, gold, steel, I don't know, whatever, precious diamond. Okay. And that is the extreme part of it. And so, and number four helps you find the middle way, the Noble Eightfold Path. And there's eight, it's a methodology there. Right view, right mindfulness, right concentration, right livelihood, right speech. Right speech is very important. And so you look at, the Noble Eightfold Path and you realize, wow, someone has laid out the how to cultivate positivity in our heart. And, again, if you were a dark person, is a dark person now, however you define dark, is our job, spiritual teachers, is to raise this level of awareness to you. My job is not to judge. And we can also replace the word judgment, that when we judge other people, we should replace that with evaluating. Evaluating, and there was another one. It will come to mind. But assessing, there you go, assessing. right?
Or discerning. How about that? Discernment?
Correct. Yes. Actually, the Buddha used discernment. I couldn't tell you how many times in the sutras.
Really?
Yes, discernment.
Okay.
Actually, he encourages everyone to always discern. But it's a difficult word, so I think I rarely do actually teachers in this tradition use the word discernment. I'm glad you brought that to awareness. But when we change the rhetoric to assessment and evaluation, it becomes less judgmental by and through its own right and definition. And we always need to assess and evaluate. And the wise don't chill with fools. And so that's what we're trying to do. In Buddhism, we're always trying to cultivate ourselves to be the wise, to live wisely, to treat each other wisely. And part of living wisely is refraining from intoxicating substance, anything to the extreme, sexual misconduct, you don't want to get into that mess. You want to live organically as possible. Okay. And we also assess to see that, some people, when they do foolish things, think foolishly. Maybe you just got to step back and deal with you right now and not be too self-involved on that matter. And spirituality just means to know yourself and to bring it back home. And when you cultivate the right amount of energy in your life, subsequently, you will attract other people. Again, other people will be on the other end of the table, and they're going to look at you, and they're going to be like, there is something about her. I just need to go over there and introduce myself. So I'd like to yield the floor back to Sudi.
Then I would like you to ask the question again. I would like to respond back to that question, and then I want to get Dr. Charnel's opinion on it.
Well, I actually have a little short period before I have a client, but so go for it, and I got about 15 minutes, so.
Okay, then what was the question? How could you love when?
Oh, it's so hard to love when there's so many wrong people.
Mm-hmm. So here's what I'm coming from before you answer. I mean, I would look at that judgment. How could you love when there are so many wrong people? Wouldn't that be my personal judgment or the lens that I'm looking at the world? That because in my lens, before you respond to that, when I'm looking out into the reality, everyone is just loving to me. As I said before, I try to make myself empty every single day. Every single day when I wake up, I'm conscious that the mind ego has also woken up with me, and I'm observing the ego mind, that separation of who am I? I am not the thinking machine, the mind and the ego. Therefore, I look and see during the night as I was sleeping, what dreams did I have? Where did I go? And how clean or full am I right now? So I do the cleansing first thing in the morning. And then after I cleanse myself, I try as much as I can not to look at the world with a lens of judgment. Mind you, that I have to say, while Ben was reading something, I was looking at Ben and suddenly I saw a tiger and I judged him to be a tiger. You showed up to me as a tiger animal. But anyway, I judged you there. I said, is Ben a real person or he's a tiger? I'm just kidding. But anyhow, so from the way I'm looking outside is everybody is so loving. I walk around and I always have a smile, whether I'm conscious or not. And I see the reflection, other people are smiling back at me. So I want to bring this back to you to respond to that. Vibrationally, this is our conversation today, how would you tell someone who has this, looking through this lens, that so many people are wrong, and how do you see that vibrationally?
This for me?
Yes,
Oh
yes.
gosh. Well, I believe what you're saying as far as the lens that you're looking at. If someone is saying, you know, everyone's so bad, you know, Jesus would say, forgive them for they know not what they do. It's not like the people, it's the actions that they're taking, and then looking into, like, we don't know why they're doing what they're doing. Like, they probably don't know why they're doing what they're doing. They're reacting. You know, in medicine, we would, if we give a medication, which I don't give medication, but when I was when I worked in cardiac rehab, my undergraduate, there was medications given, and either there was a response or a reaction. Response would mean it was good. Reaction means that it was bad, and you know, people will react maybe in a not so loving way when they're hurt or wounded or have, you know, still not dealt with their issues, including myself. And I can get triggered just as easy from something happening that's maybe will butt into something that happened to me when I was 4 years old or something, or what have you. So we're all susceptible to triggering and reacting. And we also, if we get the opportunity and take the time to slow down, can respond, and we can reflect, and we can, you know, say, well, why am I feeling like this, and what's going on with me, and, you know, how can I shift this, and how can I look at it a different way, and whether it's someone coming to us or whatever. But I don't necessarily look at people as bad or good. I'm sure I know that there can be entity attachments and different things where people are like guided maybe to do things that they normally wouldn't, but again, they've opened themselves up to that in some way. So it's like,
Yeah, we lost her there for a second.
Okay.
Spinning.
Yeah, she's trying to reconnect. Simon, do you want to pick up before she gets back? Because I really wanted her to say vibrationally, if I'm seeing everyone wrong out there, vibrationally, how do you see that?
Okay, so I'm going to give you a story. I find stories are helpful for me. So I grew up being I felt quite a loving kind of a person, and I had an accident where I ended up with a head injury. And shortly after that head injury, what I found is that I was feeling extreme anger and hatred towards everybody. It was my family members, the person that looked at me wrong down the street. I couldn't help it. It was whatever had happened to my brain it was a new person. And I read a scripture or something, and it said, you know, unconditional love everybody. I thought, well, that's what I want, because it was the opposite of what I was feeling. I always wanted the other extreme at that time. I want the opposite of what I'm feeling. But I couldn't do it mentally. I was thinking, how do I love all these people? Like, can I rationalize why they're this and why they're that? And I thought the quickest way to get to where I wanted to get to is just to feel love. So I probably spent 1.5 years just trying to find out what love felt like. So I would hug a pet, and I would go, what does that feel like? It feels like this in my heart. It feels like this in my belly. Why am I crying? Like, what's going on here? And I did this a lot until I got to the point where I kind of had this thought of what love felt like. And what I found is I still had all of these thoughts of, like, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this. So I just started feeling love, or what I thought love was, my perception of it. And what happened is my thoughts changed. And I just felt love. I just felt love for everybody. The person that smelled funny down the street, the people that scream at people, I was like, you know, I'm going to love those people because they're hard to love. So I love them. And my thoughts started to change. So although I don't know if this is really, it was kind of it was a hard way to do it, because I had my body would almost shake with how much I didn't want to love these people. Because there was something wrong with them. That's what my brain was telling me. Part of me knew that wasn't real, but it felt real because it was playing out in my body. But what I found is just when I felt love and I just sent it towards people and I just held it and held it and held it, is that I completely changed. And I guess the premise of this story for me is that if you have enough intention, which you've already mentioned, enough kind of willpower and faith, and you know what you want, and you felt it maybe once before, or someone else has felt it, is that you can get there. And this maybe wasn't the easiest path to get there, but we can try and rationalize and think how we're going to love everybody. I don't think you can do it because people are so complicated. They're really challenging at times. Like, they have stuff going on that you just don't know what's going on. You don't know what happened in their life. You don't know who murdered this someone. They don't know what happened to this. But what you can do is, when I just felt love, all of this stuff that was in my mind saying that this person's wrong, it disappeared. And so I think it can, I guess what I'm getting at is it can be challenging, but it can be simple to get to that place. And it really is a choice. And it can feel like an uncomfortable choice to love everything or try to love everything unconditionally. But I can tell you the rewards are beyond what you could ever buy with any type of money. So that's my
Yeah,
little bit of advice.
here's what I want to say.
Yeah.
You know, like I ended up a friendship because I felt like the person that I was dealing with didn't really know who they were. And as a side effect, it could kind of affect my energy field, you know? So it comes to a level of consciousness on how we're looking at a person, their actions, and all that. Once I realized that deeper what's going on with this person, that she or he doesn't love herself or doesn't love himself, therefore they don't value themselves and they don't feel worthy of even receiving attention, love, and affection, then I can just separate myself from the environment, whatever it is, because even me, like I was saying in my webinar yesterday, I said, you know, because I'm a spiritual guru to a lot of Persian people, you know, and I said to them, I said, you know, at time it just feels to me that I'm being putting up on a pedestal and I have to hold that higher place. And that's not who I am, and this is not my intention. And sometimes unknowingly, it's a lot of pressure on you that you always have to live the high standard. So on purpose, sometimes I'm doing some things, or I'm doing some, or I say something that it doesn't fit with the, you know, the logo of guru, just to break that. And some people are going to say, oh, is she a guru? Oh, she's not case, or blah, blah, blah. I do it on purpose to break the character, because I said, even if I feel like I'm a spiritual guru, that's a character. Or if your opinion of me is that I'm a spiritual guru, as a teacher, I'm supposed to break that for you too. So going back to what I was saying, oftentimes people think, well, if you're a spiritual guru, then you have to deal with all kind of people and you have to have them in your... No, you don't. You can love people from a distance, but knowing the fact that, oh, the reason this person is behaving this way, it's not personal. She or he is not doing it to me. This is years of old conditionings, behaviors, traumas, dramas. They're carrying all this stuff. So the best thing that they can do is what you're seeing right now. My choice is to understand that. Don't judge them, don't get angry or don't get mad at them. I can cut out the relationship without a judgment, clear out my space, and then love them from a distance. So I don't take hatred in, because this is the key point that you guys have to get. For someone who feels unworthy, no matter how much you try to give them, they don't have the ability or capability to receive. And if someone's opinion of themselves is that they are unworthy, and you want to give worth to them to worry about what they're saying or how they're behaving, you're going way, way, way wrong. So get this. Somebody who is unworthy, they're going to be very reactive. They're going to be doing a lot of things. Don't judge their actions, but don't try to give them the worth as a gift that they can't take in a first place. They don't have the ability to accept that. Okay? But just knowing this thing, you remove yourself, but you still love yourself more and love them more. And I want this to make this also a habit. Every time someone is doing something wrong to me, I don't judge the person. That just tells me to love myself more. What do you think of that, Ben? Whenever somebody does something, instead of judging it as good or bad, I just say, oh, this person is doing this or acting this way as a projection is telling me that you need to have more love and respect for yourself.
So, first and foremost, I think Dr. Charneil was not able to reconnect, and I think she has a client waiting. So she'll probably join us for future episodes. But we'd like to thank her for her profound contribution towards the subject. That, I mean, there are things that I didn't even know. So I was pretty enlightened by the information that she provided for all of us.
Yes.
I like to now respond to what Simon said, what Sudi said about judgment. You see, the problem is that it's easy when someone advises you, don't judge, have love, love, don't judge. Again, how do we do that? I'm stuck on this how thing. It's like, how?
Yeah. We get it.
And my response is that you have to look past the behavior and into the person. You have to look past the behavior and into the person, because it is exactly that. It is the manifesting behavior that, gets us like, are you kidding? Like, I would never do that to you, so why would you do that to me? The obnoxious things that they do, the foolish things that people do. That's what they're doing. They're doing all these things that's going on, and here you are, right? And it's easy for us to judge back. And so you have to look past the behavior and into them. Well, how do you do that? Well, again, the first noble truth explains a lot. The second noble truth explains a lot. And like what Sudi said is that there are so many layers of causes and conditions about their upbringings that causes them to react that way. React in anger, react in jealousy, react in just a spiteful manner. And again, I said earlier that you need people to survive. No matter if you dislike humans, don't like humans, hate humans, whatever the description may be about you and how you feel about other humans, is that we need them to survive, simply put, on many levels, from an individual context to a group context to a community context, national context. I mean, they have to drive the trucks, and they have to drop off the food, and they have to they have to put the food on the shelves, you have to walk into the store, you have to engage, encounter. So one of the things is cultivating wisdom is that you have to study psychology. What is psychology? It is the study of the way how people think, feel, and behave. So again, Buddhism is all about deep understanding, and as a direct result of deep understanding, compassion arises. We see killers and murderers all the time, and it is or rapists all the time on the news, and we couldn't help but to judge, right? But it is exactly those people who were victims themselves. But without academically studying, we are quick to judge than to actually seek deep understanding. So, we monks spend the majority of our life, and I have been studying since I was on the subject of philosophy, on the subject of love, criminology, psychology, sociology, anthropology, religion, comparative religion, Christianity, Bible, the suttas. I couldn't tell you. The amount of handwritten notes that I have is from the floor all the way to the ceiling. So what does that mean for the rest of you who are watching? Is that there is no quick answer. And I know you guys are looking for a quick answer. Everyone's looking for a quick answer. The quick way to enlightenment. The quick answer to solve a problem. And if you're young, well, it don't matter what age you are. You can. It's never too old. You're never too old to learn. And again, unless you're going to be on an island where you are self-sufficient with food and water and entertainment, if you're living in a city and you have to engage with people and how you feel about them, you have to study them. And I know you guys.
I want to interrupt you for a second before I forget this. Maybe this tip could be helpful. As you were saying this, it just came to me that every time we see somebody behaving some way, whether we like it or we don't, especially if we don't like it, what if we pause for a second and tell ourselves, I don't know their whole story. I don't know what happened to them in their childhood, how much traumas, how much pain did they go through that makes them to behave this way right now. Would that be helpful if every time somebody does something that I get offended or I don't like it, I just pause for a second, don't judge the action, and come from a place of compassion and say, I really don't know their whole story. Go ahead, Ben.
So that would be keeping the noble silence. This is where people give me messages like, I thought monks didn't talk. So this is part of our training.
That's what I was thinking then until I met you.
He must not be a real monk. Why is he talking? He's supposed to be in the woods. Why does he have a phone? I don't understand why he has a phone.
And not just one, many.
So part of my training, I don't know. I haven't met any young monks that told me that they have done a year silent retreat. I haven't met one yet. So as it stands, so I did a 1-year silent retreat in 2017. So that means that anything that people said, I was to exercise self-restraint and to sit with the silence and to take a break and to try to understand their behavior and not to react. And it was a very profound experience for 1 year. Imagine 1 year, you have very little contact with the outside world. You have very little contact with monastics. You have teachers who are basically just observing you. You have a set of directions and instructions, and most of them are self-reflection and meditation. And you sit with the silence. You're going to trace back everything it's called the Paticca Samuppada, the links of influence. You're trying to go back in time since you were born, as young as you can remember, how you were treated, how you treat others, and just look at the links, the conditioning process. So, yeah, absolutely. I would invite everyone in middle school, they tell you count 1 to 10 when you're angry. And, this is keeping the noble silence makes you a noble person. Or at least in that moment, it does. Because trying to absorb the fact that you can absorb what they did, how they said it, it's not what they say, it's how they say it too. the fact that you can absorb that and sit with that and try to find a way to respond skillfully, it's such a good thing. And it's karmically good because, you know, again, if you did the total opposite, which is not sit with the silence, and you just fire back so quickly, you know, beep me, well, beep you. You would be, that would not be right speech under the Noble Eightfold Path. And you would be already generating negative karma already. Thinking ill will thoughts in your mind, you're already generating negative karma. Sometimes you don't have to say it. Just thinking ill will. Oh, I wish this person gets hit by a bus, or I wish something happens to them, or I wish they lose their house. I wish there's a fire in their house tonight, or something like that. You're already generating negative karma. So yeah, that's a good interjection, which is to pause for a little bit. And in Buddhism, we teach you walking meditation, and you can walk away. That's what it means to walk away. So you walk away and just return back to the self, you know, kiss the earth with your feet as you walk away. That buys you a lot of time to respond skillfully.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Vin. Shall we end this live and join again next week?
Yeah, I think we had sufficient
Hour and a half.
time. We'd like to thank Simon for contributing so much, his views and perspectives, as he's new. He's new to me. I'm not sure if he's new to Sudi, but if he's new to you guys, then add Simon. You can ask him questions. Add Sudi. You can ask her questions. And that's what we are here for. Something happened to us in our life that made us change, that make us veer towards the path of inner work, and that we dedicate time, energy, and effort within our lives to, number one, trying to perfect ourselves, or as closest to perfection as possible, as closest to enlightenment as possible, transcending our own suffering, and to help you all make sense of your world, the stressful world that we all live in. And so, is that okay if people reach out to you, Simon?
Of course. Yeah. I'd be welcome to speak to whoever I can. So it's awesome.
Thank you. And I'll let Sudi coordinate the next time. You know, I'm just in today to coordinate the media part.
Now you became an expert. Now you can do it from now on. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you again, Ben, to grab the whole thing and make it happen. Love you, Simon. Really, the full definition of love. I love you. You two are so dear to my heart, and thank you so much. And we see you guys next Thursday with another live. Bye bye, everybody.
Bye, Sudi. Bye, Venerable. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Take care. Bye bye. And if you all have missed this session or just now joining us, you guys can join us on all of my platforms, on Instagram, Facebook, both accounts on Facebook, Instagram. Well, TikTok doesn't have a copy of this, and I'm pretty sure Instagram will have a copy of this. Well, but thank you, all of you, for joining. When we have more than such people in a group setting like this, the collective wisdom of the crowd, you guys can see clearly that there's different perspectives and views on a subject and matter. It gets everybody's gears going. They're like, oh, there's 4 people. It keeps it very interesting. I will probably have to look into Zoom conference. As everyone is aware, you know, myself, a monk, particularly Theravada tradition, we depend on donations to survive. And so right now, I am not paying for any services. And Zoom requires, I think they only give you free 30 minutes. And if this is going to happen more frequently and often with guests and stuff like that, then I will probably have to subscribe to Restream or Zoom, so that we can have digital copies and that you guys can in fact look at their faces. Today, only Instagram people are able to see faces on Instagram, but on YouTube they see my face again. And both of the Facebook accounts, you can only see my face again. So the only thing I can ask for is water. I cannot ask for money. And if it is within you to give the gift of generosity, and wanting to see more guests appear on our shows, on all of the platforms, meeting new teachers, spiritual teachers, then the donations will go directly to paying for Zoom and other resources that is available. But thank you all. You guys have been wonderful listeners. I hope that this was an impactful podcast show for all of you. And until the very next time, so stand by for more announcements. May you all be well, be happy, be free, always be healthy. May you realize the light of your own true nature. May you all be healed and be a source of healing for others. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Oh, and by the way, the donations can be made on my link tree, which is on all of my platforms. If you just click on the link trees, there are the PayPal, Venmo, stuff that's on there. So thank you and have a wonderful Wednesday. It is Wednesday. Take care.